realize the Resident Evil vampire lady is only in the first quarter of the game. You told me that if we bought this game, she would be the main villain. Now I've been playing for about 5 hours, and she's already dead. You care to explain this to me?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
She better come back. If I get 5 more hours into this game and she's not here, we're returning it.
Do you realize you can only play it for 2 hours before you can return it? What?
If Mother... What's her name?
Mother May I?
If
Mother Miranda.
God damn it. If Mother Miranda realizes what is up with our daughter, she'll condemn our kid and I'll have to get her back. What you did is break into our house and shoot us, Chris.
Oh, if only Bob Chandler was the real hero in Resident Evil 7 and 8.
He's a molded.
He would make everyone stop and explain everything again. Which would be very helpful.
Go talk to your mother. Don't bother me.
What if Bob Chandler was, God, what's the final guy's name?
Heisenberg?
Yeah, well, if he was Heisenberg and you had to fight him with a fucking tractor.
That'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool.
His big industrial complex full of junk.
Full of Chris's.
Yeah, the CNC shed where the dreams come true.
His giant CNC shed.
Crossing the Line is not a show intended to bully or harass anyone. Do not go out of your way to mess with the authors who write these fanfics. They make what we do possible. Thanks. Enjoy.
This is almost a Resident Evil related intro.
Yeah, I know. How about that?
It's pretty cool.
I forgot that was the plot of the episode for a second.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to Crossing the Line, a fanfiction podcast where we read, review, and critique fanfiction for your listening pleasure. I'm George Jeeple, and as always, I've got my two lovely co-hosts, Elias Viva Vlog.
Hello.
And Stephen Blue Breed.
Hello.
Stephen, you've only got a few weeks left to say this. Do you want to go ahead and let the fans know?
What's that?
You know, your thing.
Oh, are you planning on doing that live stream event?
Oh, yeah. Let's see here. Very soon, I'm going to be doing a live stream. Recently, I've had to do some repairs to my car that have cost a pretty penny, and to help raise money to kind of make that back, I'm going to be doing a live stream, I'm pretty sure on Picarto. I'll be accepting donations to do redraws of a Ryoko Matoi screenshot. I'm sure you've seen the one if you've been keeping up to date on Twitter lately. But regardless, I'll be taking donations to draw that screenshot, whatever character, simple background. I'm thinking right now I'll be taking 4 at 100 each. I'll get you full color with a simple background.
I was just throwing you into the fire. I didn't expect you to actually have anything. Good
Date
job.
pending.
Good job. Now, what's everyone like about Resident Evil, huh? What's your favorite? Jill Sandwich, maybe?
My favorite game is Resident Evil 5 because I've beaten it like 5 times or more. But I really like the new ones a lot, like the 6 and 7.
7 and 8.
7 and 8.
Yeah.
Village and
6 is where the zombies have guns.
yeah, not 6.
6 is the one where you can't see anything.
I liked 5 a lot, and I tried to play 6 a couple times, but it's so bad. It's gone so far in the opposite direction of what Resident Evil is. It's just not any fun for me personally.
So true.
But yeah, I did like the last couple new ones, not including the remakes. I haven't played those. I think the first-person angle is a lot of fun, and they're very campy while still being like tense horror games. They're good.
What do you think about Barry Burton?
Barry Burton. Is he in the new ones?
No.
I think his voice actor is funny in the original.
You were almost a Jill Sandwich. Thanks. What? Nothing. I like Resident Evil. I haven't played a lot of them, but I enjoy the aesthetic. I like Capcom games in general. Capcom's a very cool company for the most part, most of the time. And Resident Evil's a fun one. I've been thinking a lot about Resident Evil Gaiden on the Game Boy Color lately. That game's very silly. You play as Barry Burton on a big boat, and you have pseudo turn-based combat. But it works. It's cool. Resident Evil's cool. The characters are hilarious.
I have played actually 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and like none of the spin-offs or 2 or 3.
Leon S. Kennedy is a very funny, childlike hero.
He's so cool.
He goes, wait, follow me, wait, follow me, wait, follow me, wait, follow me. And then they made the joke about Ashley's ballistics. Steven?
Let's see here. I haven't played a lot of them. I've played 8 a little bit because we did sort of a group session where we kind of took turns. Let's see here. I've mainly watched all of the like Resident Evils. Not all of them. I've watched a lot of 1. I watched the entirety of 7. 7 is just so fucking cool because that one went so deep into actual like horror, and it really did a good job of making it feel like you're surviving because it doesn't give you a lot so quick. Whereas 8 kind of did a half and half where like you get enough stuff fast enough that it feels more actiony than 7 was, but it's still got enough creepiness factor to it that it doesn't entirely like lose itself or anything. I want to play 1 just because like I like campy shit, and I also just want to kind of experience what people experienced back then. I think it's a lot of its creepiness is kind of upheld in the original version. I don't want to play a remake. Let's see here.
Do you want to play the original or the director's cut that introduced the analog controls?
I'll play them both, but I'll probably friggin' play the first one with the tank controls first, just because like I feel like analog might take a little bit away from the difficulty.
There's still tank controls. You can just use the analog stick to do it.
Oh, okay. I'll probably still use the arrows. That'd be easier in that case.
Yeah, they're not that bad.
The first game came out before the PlayStation had analog, and then they did like a director's cut, quote unquote, which I don't really think changed much other than that.
Right. But I respect it a lot for what it's done for like horror games and all that mess.
Who's the coolest Resident Evil character?
That's a hard one. I like both Jill and Leon. I like a very controversial opinion. I like fucking Ethan Winters. He's just goofy. He's such a goofy, like, normal-ass motherfucker.
He's very funny.
He's very funny. I like his story arc, like, in 7 and 8. Like, he is actually, like, I don't know, it feels really sad and interesting to me. I like the whole molded as a whole because, like, they took the zombie shit and kind of gave it a biological factor rather than it just being a curse. Like,
That's
original.
what it's supposed to be.
Well, yeah, like it was always like a T virus, but here it kind of, I've often heard like the closest thing we have to real zombies are rabies and those mushrooms that take over small animals' psyche. And I would say the molded kind of does a good job of giving you that feel where it's like, if a mold were to kind of go the way that viruses can go, where it can get to a point where we don't have a way of like calming down spores and shit, like it could actually do something like that. Not to that exaggerated of an extent, but you know what I mean. No, that's really my whole piece on Resident Evil.
I can't wait for the Duke to have his own standalone adventure.
Is that your favorite character?
He's pretty funny.
He is cool. I like how he's everywhere.
I like towards the end of 5 when you get to see Jill in the sexy jumpsuit with like the zip down in the middle and like the big bug on her chest.
Wow.
Yo.
Like it's definitely a bastardization of her character, but I think it's like cool and hot, so it's okay.
It's whatever, yeah. I like in Marvel vs. Capcom 2 you can play as her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that where you can her fucking her 3 meter where she uses the missile on she summons a friggin' Titan and then she blows it up with a missile launcher if you use another meter.
Something like that. That game's cool.
Oh yeah?
Capcom games are cool.
It's cool.
You guys like Capcom?
Are you looking forward to any Capcom games right now?
I don't think they're coming out with any right now.
Why not?
I don't know. They've been busy.
They're working on a new Street Fighter. They did.
Oh, yeah.
They did a teaser trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'll wait to see what the actual game looks like, because until proven otherwise, it's just going to be Street Fighter 5 too.
Yeah.
It's hard to say from the trailer right now. I kind of like what they're going for with the art style, not in the sense that I like over realism, but when you look up close, it kind of looks like they're like chiseled out of marble, and I kind of like art styles where they look like action figures. Like that's what I was hoping Jump Force was going to be, like they were all going to look like figures, because that would be cool, because then they could like, hey, we have these new line of figures, and they're actually characters you can play as in this fighting game, so now you can get both a really good sculpted figure, and you can also play in the game as that figure.
I hate looking at that game. Every character has like real skin textures, but none of their art styles look good with any of the textures.
Dude.
I finished Bakuman recently, and what I learned was that Jump is pretty like particular with who they give the license out to for anime, and they'll often either let an anime never happen or wait till the right studio comes along if they choose to do it. And I really wish they would do the same thing with video games, because the games are not very, very great.
No, they don't have a lot of good quality control.
Yeah.
Like, J-Stars was at best like manageable.
Yeah.
It wasn't that fun, but I get it. Jump Force just felt like an even more diluted version of that, which is weird to think about.
Yeah. The DS games are pretty cool.
Yeah, the DS games are sweet.
Oh yeah.
You get to make your team based on a manga panel, and like bigger characters are playable characters, little ones are like support, and you get to just like fill out a page, and that's your whole roster. They play like Smash Brothers, where you like actually destroy the panels and then knock them out of them.
Yeah, I remember seeing the sprites for those games like all over the place.
Fucking crazy. There are still games that only come out in Japan. There was this One Piece 3DS game that had amiibo support, and all the Straw Hats had like goofy ass costumes based on Nintendo characters.
Oh yeah, that's right. Wasn't Sanji like Luigi or something like that?
No, Luffy was Mario and Luigi.
Oh okay.
I'm pretty sure Yoshi was Usopp, which is hilarious.
Yes, that's right. One of us needs to learn Japanese already so we can play them.
I don't think the 3DS games are region free, so you'd have to get like a whole Japanese 3DS. You could probably emulate it, but whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
We're not going to all huddle around a 3DS.
A Japanese 3DS.
Let's all hope that maybe in the wake of the new platform fighter genre kind of getting more companies, that maybe they'll kind of go more in that direction, because that's what I want. I want anime Smash Brothers.
Bro, meet me at Nick All-Stars Brawl. My Reptar is undefeated.
It's true. This guy can fuck people up with Reptar, my god.
I am a fucking king at Nick All-Stars. I will take on any challenger on my PC, given its specs are good enough to play online.
They actually... Oh yeah, they recently they're releasing an update. So the netcode is going to be improved, which it's already decent, so that's good.
That's good.
So yeah, we were talking about how we wanted Shredder to get fucking nerfed, or we expected him to be nerfed.
Yeah, he's very good in the game.
Oh yeah, like the worst nerf I saw in the update, because he got like 3 things, and one of them I think was like the worst of them, and it's just that oh yeah, his neutral B where he just shoots across. Now if he hits you while you're guarding, it stops him, so it's like Wolf Flash almost. So that's already pretty, like, fair. Because that's the one thing I didn't like, is that he goes past you.
Yeah, so even if you, like, block it effectively, it doesn't help you at all.
Right, exactly. But, yeah, I think that's the worst of the patches for him that I've seen.
That's fine. You can't just make real major changes all at once, anyway.
Yeah, of course.
It would disrupt the flow. Yeah. I hope my computer can play it. I play it on low settings, and it's okay. Some of the stages work fine on medium, but some don't. I tried to stream Outlast today earlier, but my computer was fucking chugging and dying.
Oh,
I couldn't handle it, so I played Silent Hill instead.
Classic.
That was so funny. My Outlast is from 2013. I bought my computer in 2018. It should be able to play this game no issue.
Yeah, what the hell?
Staples got me good. All right. Enough griming and complaining about my streaming on twitch.tv/12timegpool. Check it out. Hit the follow button. Thank you. Who's got a fanfic? You? You've been playing with your phone for a little bit.
Have it ready.
Epic.
Take
Let's
us
hear
off.
it.
I'll probably just tell you who this is about after you fail to guess. Well, actually, never mind. You'll be able to tell, I think.
I better, or else it's
Okay.
not a good fanfic.
In the evening of Targu Mures International Airport, located in Transylvania.
Say that name again.
Targu Mures? Ures?
Is this Hotel Transylvania?
No, it's Resident Evil.
Oh. Well,
I mean, it could be both.
I would assume Resident Evil is in there. I would like to believe that Resident Evil is there somewhere.
Cody and his parents arrived with their plane. After taking their suitcases and making their way towards the exit, the chestnut boy couldn't believe his bad luck. Since it was Halloween this weekend, Cody had hoped to go to his friend's Halloween party, along with hopefully getting lots of candy from classic old trick-or-treating, or hopefully getting Gwen to have a Halloween-style date with him by watching a scary movie in the movie theaters.
Ooh.
Hopefully this time she won't reject him.
Oh, I got it. You got it?
I don't know yet.
I got it. Don't worry.
But instead, his parents had to ruin everything by taking him with them
Oh,
on their
no,
business
dude,
trip
okay.
towards Transylvania, while they will
You got it?
temporarily live
Cody
with
and
his...
Gwen, yeah, I got it.
Fanfiction writers love Cody. I don't know why. He's not like a major character.
He's just like the easiest self-insert.
Yeah.
Because
He's the most boring character on Untitled Drama.
Yeah. Total drama.
I thought for a minute it was fucking Ben 10, but I didn't recognize Cody from that, and I was like, oh yeah.
God, I love total drama.
Yeah.
Hopefully this time there's no lineup where they introduce all the characters.
Leon
Like
S.
usual.
Kennedy gets dropped onto Camp Wawanakwa. And Jill Valentine and Barry Burton. And Chris... I almost said Chris Angel.
Welcome to Total Drama Evil.
Total drama biohazard.
But instead, his parents had to ruin everything by taking him with them on their business trip towards Transylvania while they would temporarily live with his mother's Romanian cousin,
Fuck!
Count Alexandru Bagdasar.
I just assumed all the total drama contestants were over 18. It's fine if he's still living with his family and all, but it's weird. This is like implying he's a child, which is weird to me.
It's pre-total drama, even though you failed to crush on Gwen.
He had a dream about her.
I don't know why you two insisted on taking me on a boring trip to Transylvania on Halloween. Shut up, Cody. That's cool.
Yeah, what the fuck?
That's the most Halloween place you could be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cody complained to his parents, crossing his arms in dismay and being dragged to another country. Son, stop whining. This business trip is important to your mother and I. Cody's dad, Stan, replied to his stubborn son.
They're the CEOs of Circus Spirit Halloween.
Yeah, that's a good headcanon. They had enough of his complaints since the announcement. It's been ages since I saw my cousin, and this is a chance for you to get to know him, Andrea Anderson replied to her son. She was a little sorry to spoil her son's weekend plans on such short notice. Hopefully being in Transylvania can make her son feel better.
Hopefully. God, I hope.
Yeah, we're going to Transylvania this weekend.
What the fuck, Mom and Dad?
Quite the weekend trip from wherever he presumably lives in the United States or Canada.
Mm-hmm.
The Anderson family exited out of the airport. The day was a cold and warm late October day.
Pardon?
No.
Cold and warm?
What the
I
fuck?
guess. The day should have been perfect. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's right in the middle there.
It's cold and warm. I can't ask for more.
Perfect if Cody was back home enjoying his weekend plans. Cody's-
Masturbating.
Cody's complaint stopped immediately as he and his parents are greeted by an incredibly old man in a butler suit with white hair and pale skin that make him resemble a ghost.
Why do you just assume it's a butler suit, huh, Cody?
An incredibly old man. Why did Cody's complaint stop immediately when he saw the old man? He thought it was cool.
He thought he was getting a butler. He was gonna rule over another human being.
Both Cody and his father were creeped out by the old man, but Andrea grew a cheerful smile on her face. Hello, Vasil. It's nice to meet you again. So nice of your cousin Alexandru to bring you here to pick me up, she said to the old man.
I don't think either of those two are Resident Evil characters.
The butler, known as Vasil, Alexandru's cousin. The older butler was mostly stoic, and he didn't express any emotions, which only freaked Cody out.
Poor Cody.
Hi, name's Stan. Cody's father held a handshake. The old man stared blankly at it, making the older Anderson grow a little uncomfortable with greeting Vasil.
Growing a little angry at his lack of hospitality.
With no words to address the family, he guides his right arm to a creepy limousine.
What makes it creepy?
It's a limo. How
It...
could a limo possibly look creepy?
We put Halloween decorations on it.
Yeah, there's spider webs in the windows. A loud lightning crack went off in the background.
There's a 9-foot skeleton clutching the top of it.
He then gathered the family's baggage as all three entered the limousine. It was a long way to Count Alexandru's home. Vasil was driving. Neither of the Andersons were talking or said a word to the driver. It was really quiet and, to Cody's opinion, creepy. The windows from their passenger's door rolled down. Vasil pointed his bony pale finger at a destination. Andrea leaned out her head out of the door to see what he pointed out. That's the Viscary Fortified Church. It's one of the settlements that was used as a fort to take refuge. The limousine passed the refuge. The butler guy just pointed at it and didn't say anything.
Oh, cool.
Why would he point?
He's socially obligated to be a tour guide.
He doesn't say anything. He just is the tour guide.
Just gestures.
I was so ready to do an old man voice, and then it was the wife talking again.
It's tragic.
The limousine passed the refuge. A few minutes later, the driver pointed at another attraction. Some sort of mining operation surrounded by open water. Okay. That's one of the salt mines. The Romanian people are sent there to settle their respiratory problems, ordered by their doctors. Andrea pointed out. What do they do inside the mine that settles their respiratory problems?
Breathe in the salt, I guess.
It's SAUL mines.
Oh.
Sol mines.
I don't know what that is. Breathe
in
in the sol.
Look it up and see if this man made up something that's completely bullshit.
Something in the Resident Evil lore.
5 minutes had passed. The fog began to form around the road as the limousine passed a huge mountain area. Oh, look at that, boys. We're entering the Transfagarasan Highway. Isn't it beautiful? Andrea sighed happily at the view. Stan and Cody looked at the view and agreed with what she was saying. The fog is getting heavy, Cody commented. The mist covered the entire view. The limousine kept driving, the driver ignoring the mist as he drove forward.
Ignoring the traffic.
Did you see anything with the Saul mines?
I'm looking. Saul, according to... Well, that's not it. That's the Hebrew Bible.
Cody loves the Hebrew Bible.
It said, what is a Saul? And it just brought up Saul, monarch.
Oh,
I looked up Saul mines, and it didn't really... I don't know what I got. So, yes, he did make it up.
Okay. 10 minutes from driving, the Anderson family arrived at their destination. Why didn't they just drive there originally? Did the guy pick them up from the airport? Did
Yeah.
they say that? Oh, okay.
They couldn't get the airplane to just drop them off.
I guess not. I thought they got to the castle, and then he was like, no, come with me to another castle.
No, he was just pointing at it.
It was a massive old mansion located on a large mountain. The mist was gone. The sky, however, is completely dark and covered with clouds, which only made it scarier. Cody kept his breathing in check upon how scary the mansion was, lest he get sent to the Saul mines.
Cody's a fucking little bitch.
He is.
The limousine stopped near the entrance of the mansion. Appearing behind the shadows from the doors, a tall man, thin and hard as bones, lay out a grin on his face. His long, dark brown hair tied in a ponytail, teal eyes along with a stubble beard. He is wearing a black overcoat with silver linings, a yellow dress shirt, and a black necktie. His pants were the same color as his overcoat. His yellow pants? No, the black overcoat. His
Bright
yellow
pants.
His yellow buttoned undercoat and fingerless gloves matched his Cordovan shoes, under which he wore yellow shoes. What?
I'm trying
Man
so
sucks.
hard to imagine this character. He has so many colors and bells and whistles.
What's the name
Yeah, what the
of
hell?
in One Piece? Gang Beige is like second in command. Vampire-looking dude.
The little man.
Imagine that guy with a yellow undershirt.
Okay.
That's what I'm picturing.
The guy with the big hands and the long tongue and the
Yeah.
gun. He likes his
Vampire-looking
gun.
guy. Andrea! He spoke joyously with a Romanian accent and spread his arms open. Alexandru! Andrea said, hugging her older cousin. Cody and Stan got off the limousine with the butler taking out the baggage from the trunk. Cody is
The butler carrying all this baggage on his back.
Cody is stopped by 3 Carpathian shepherd dogs who appeared with their master and go to the young boy. He better not just be making up bullshit names for like Romanian shit every time we have a new paragraph. I'm getting really annoyed by this.
I'm not sure what's Resident Evil and what's not.
But to his surprise, they tackled him to the ground and licked his face, which caused him to laugh. Ha 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 ha. Down, boys! Alexandru spoke as he and that was Alexandru the fireman. I thought it was his mom.
Yeah, you
Alexandru got
really
very
flamboyant.
Yeah.
Down, boys.
That's fine. That's how Alexander can sound now. He is dressed very gaudily. My dogs have taken a liking to you. They're usually hostile against strangers. I'm Cody. The chestnut voice.
Hi, Cody.
Cody's a little on the slow side.
Cody.
He's catching up.
The boy slowly introduced himself to his mom's cousin. My goodness, Andrea never told me you were so handsome. You do have Bagdasar's blood inside of you. Alexandru spoke fondly at the young boy.
Don't talk about my blood.
Stan decided to present himself to the Count's dogs.
Oh my
What are you
God.
doing, Dad?
Just holding his arms out.
Holding his ass out.
He's presenting.
When he,
It's Romanian culture, you understand.
when he reached his hand to touch their hands, one of them tried to stick his hand on the ground with the dog's hand.
Their hands.
Their paws. One of them tried to bite it off before all of them growled at the Anderson patriarch. The Anderson patriarch.
Calling just like a random guy a patriarch is very funny.
Mm,
It's like he's just his dad.
right.
My dogs aren't fond of you because of your scent, Count Alexandru spoke to his cousin's husband.
What the fuck does that mean?
Now you tell me, Stan muttered under his breath. Let's all head inside.
Muttered.
Alexandru escorted the family to the 5th floor of the mansion. I guess nothing happened in those 5 flights worth discussing. They're not going to describe the inside of the house or anything. The creepy butler had all their suitcases throughout the time they went to the 5th floor. We read these verbatim. Sorry if it doesn't make sense. Stan, Andrea, and Cody were presented with their very own room. The husband and wife get their own rooms.
No, they all get their own room. They all share a room.
With their very own room.
Yeah, so Cody has to sleep with his parents.
Stan and Andrea sharing a room and Cody having one by himself.
Damn.
Cody got suited into his temporary room. Right as he lay down on the bed, Vasil opened the door.
You better not be doing what I think you're doing in here.
Starling the chestnut boy. Stop calling him the chestnut boy. Please.
What? I wasn't doing nothing.
Ah, Vasil, he yelped. Dinner is ready, the creepy butler spoke. His
That's
voice.
the first thing he's ever said.
Yeah. His voice made some of the color on Cody's face drain. Thanks, Cody said back. As soon as he was gone, Cody let out a deep sigh. He won't survive the weekend being here.
What the fuck are you talking about, Cody?
Other stuff should be happening based on the description of this paragraph, or the story, so we'll see.
I hope so.
Vasil and some of the other servants led the Anderson family to the large dining room, with the chestnut boy and his parents walking over to the table. Vasil and the other servants opened the chairs for them one by one. Already seated in his place, Count Alexandru remarked with his hands forming a fist together. I hope you all enjoy the Romanian cuisine. The dinner was a 3-course meal. Go ahead and guess what the meal is before this 10-year-old boy attempts to describe a meal to us. My guess is there will be French fries.
What do Romanians eat?
Fried chicken.
Romaine lettuce.
Lettuce, lots of lettuce. There'll be a roast of some sort, mashed potatoes and cranberry sauce.
That's probably good guesses.
Served on Zoo Pals.
Bring the finest of ware.
But just for Cody. Very on Zupal plate.
Wow, I got an owl.
Mom, what'd you get? A normal plate.
A normal plate.
Okay. The dinner was a 3-course meal. The starters are fried pies with cheese and green onions. The main course is turkey meatball casserole with cauliflower. And finally, the dessert is amadine, a Romanian chocolate layered cake filled with chocolate with caramel and fondant cream.
Okay.
I could have guessed chocolate cake.
I didn't even think about dessert as a factor.
It's a 3-course meal.
Is dessert part of the meal?
What are fried pies?
Not a clue.
How do you fry a pie? I guess a hand pie.
Yeah, you just mold it together and then you throw it in the fryer. It's easy.
Cody and his parents enjoyed the food and thanked Alexandru for his hospitality, to which the Count only replied that the thanks should go to the chefs who made it.
Can we all say thank you at the same time?
Thank you.
Real Anderson tech.
Cody's parents talked to Alexandru about their business trip to make a deal with a huge company in this country. The chestnut boy poked his half-eaten amadine with a bitter look, hidden from the people in the room. This is in italicized text, so it's in his mind. I bet right now my friends are having a blast at that Halloween party, and Gwen is off sucking faces with that asshole Duncan. Cody bitterly frowns.
I thought he was just gonna complain about the food. But his girlfriend to be sucking someone off or something.
The middle-aged Count noticed his cousin's son look at a little bitter.
Damn, he really thinks his girlfriend is fickle and not faithful.
Cody, is everything okay with the dessert? Do you not like it? He asked. Both of his relatives turned to see their son's expression before matching their faces in a similar manner. Cody, stop poking out your amadine, Andrea scolded. You should have left me home, Cody responded, getting himself in more trouble than what he is. All I wanted to do was spend the weekend with my friends and going to a party and asking Gwen out, but you two had to screw it up. Don't you raise your voice at us, Stan scolded his wife.
What?
There's no periods or commas or anything, so it ran together, unfortunately.
So it just became Stan scolded his wife.
No punctuation as usual.
That's hilarious.
Stan scolded his wife, face palming in dismay at what her son had done. Tell me you're still thinking about that girl. Andrea closed her eyes with Stan also face palming and why his son was complaining all the way here.
They're both so disappointed in their stupid ass son.
Cody, you need to forget about her. She doesn't like you.
You don't know that. You don't even know her.
I'm starting to think I don't like you very much.
Cody tried to object, but his father cut him off. Cody, all you're doing is chasing after a girl who won't blink a second time to get to know you. When are you going to stop doing this to yourself? Stan asked, trying to get his son a clear picture of why Gwen won't date him. Have you forgotten the many times she rejected you? The face slaps, the kicking, the yelling, the bruises?
This must be very awkward for fucking host and guy. Cousin.
This is why he doesn't talk.
The kicking, the yelling, the bruises, the number of calls I ever received from her. Andrea listed off the times Gwen had rejected Cody in various ways. As Cody tries to convince his parents he knows he's got a chance to win Gwen's heart, the family are interrupted by the outburst laugh of Count Alexandru.
You fucking suck, Cody. I take back what I said about the bloodline.
What's so funny? Stan asked in confusion why his wife's cousin had started laughing. I understand how Cody felt. He reminds me of myself when I was his age, Count Alexandru chuckled. I remember I had my eyes on the most beautiful girl, Luana. She is a wonderful woman, but my love for her was nothing but a reality. We were in both different worlds. Me belonging to a preacher's family, and Luana, she belongs to a family of farmers. Plus, her heart belonged to a young shepherd boy named Christian. The laugh had vanished and replaced with a deep sigh.
None of these are Resident Evil characters.
I tried to win Luana's heart for many years. Luana never returned to my feelings and stayed with Christian forever.
LaFonda?
I was heartbroken, but when I matured, I realized I was a fool for going after a woman to make her fall in love with me. The Count gave Cody a strong look. Don't keep setting your sights on someone who will never love you. There are other and better women out there who would definitely like him for who he is. My chances to find new love were too late. Don't make the same mistake I did. He finishes up with a serious look and bitter tone.
Wait, what was the name of the girl he was talking about?
He spelled it 3 different ways in one paragraph, but I think it's Loana, Luana.
Okay. My brain immediately forgot, and I started thinking about Lashana from Total Drama, and I was like,
That'd be
wait,
cool.
did he say Lashana? But alas, she had her eyes on another shepherd boy named Harold.
So it does kind of go to what we're talking about, or what I was hoping for in a minute.
Okay. He finds the Lashana ball.
Maybe Christian is Chris Redfield.
Christopher Chris Redfield.
Cody's-
Christian Chris Redfield Ricardo.
Cody stared at his Romanian relatives in silence as he started to wonder about his feelings towards Gwen. The chestnut boy thinks back at his mom had said of Gwen rejecting his feelings multiple times. It was the first time he ever had a realization about the gothic girl. After a few minutes of self-thought, he finally understood what his parents and his cousin were trying to say. Gwen wasn't the right girl for him.
She is pretty hot, though. I can't blame him for fawning for such a beautiful woman.
True.
She's nice, too.
She's also like a main character, and he isn't.
Yeah. He got voted off like frame 1.
Thank you for opening my eyes, Cody smiles at the Romanian Count. Stan and Andrea both thank the Count for finally making Cody open his eyes.
Thank you, Count. Thank you. This boy was so whipped we couldn't do anything.
Count Alexandru simply replied with a carefree shrug. It's the least I can do for my family. I didn't want someone from my family going through the same mistakes I did, he turned to Cody. There's a Halloween party in my village near my home. Lots of teenagers are going to be there. You should go instead of being cooped up here. The news about a party taking place in the village excited Cody. The village.
Oh boy, a party, oh boy.
Cody immediately turned to his parents with a wide grin. Can I, Mom and Dad? Both parents are deeply worried about their son being left alone in a village. Andrea turned to her cousin. Alexandru, do you think it's wise to let Cody alone to attend a party?
You know, he's Cody.
You know who he is, right?
What if there could be bears and wolves in the forest we pass by your house? Stan asked.
Fuck off, Stan.
Bears and wolves.
Then Count Alexander said to Cody's parents that caused them and Cody to shiver in fear. Oh, there's more than wolves and bears in those forests, dear cousin. You can be sure of that. Once dinner was finished, Count Alexander led Cody to the hallway with his parents following in worry. Cody assures his parents he'll be fine as long as he listens to the Count's words. The middle-aged Count was outside with a boy giving him directions. Just continue walking down the path where your folks came in. When you see a left road, enter it, and that would take you to the party. The path will take you to the forest, but you'll make it out of here in a few minutes. But you must never go to the banished part of the forest. Count Alexander instructed Cody of the path to the party, while warning him of the banished parts he mustn't enter. Why? Cody asked. If you want to live, you must take my warning by heart.
Is that where the fucking Resident Evil mansion is?
Oh no.
It is called Village. It is called the Village.
I don't know where the Resident Evil mansion is canonically, because it is just straight up Earth. But I could believe it's in a Romanian forest somewhere.
True.
If you want to live, you must take my warning by heart. Count Alexander raises his voice to make Cody nod his head quickly. Now, you may borrow my horse, Dimitri, and a carriage to take you to the village.
Dimitri.
Fuck off with this hoity-toity place. It's stuck in the past. We're taking a horse-drawn carriage. Are you fucking kidding me?
My horse, Dimitri.
They took a plane to get here. Why does he have a horse?
They took a limo to get
He
here.
has a limo! What the fuck?
Cody pulling up to the party in a limo would be so sick. He's
Then
only allowed to take
Cody has to find a place to park the horse.
to leave the horse. All these like modern teens see Cody come up on a horse. They're like, what the fuck? You got a horse?
Get out of here, man.
Who are you?
Fucking stink.
You smell, dude.
Some new hokey just showed up. He's gonna get bullied so hard if he even makes it to that party.
Absolutely.
Don't worry, I'll be fine. Take care, Mom and Dad. Cody said his byes to them before entering the carriage. The horse then pushed the carriage as it started its journey to the village.
Pushed?
I guess the horse is just doing its own thing.
That would imply it's behind the carriage.
The horse then pushed the carriage.
They're in a big hamster ball.
It's just like got its head against the wall.
That's how carriages work, right?
He's like yanking on the reins from way behind. Yeah!
Oh my fucking god.
The parents still looked worried for their son going off to a village alone in the middle of the night.
The horse standing on its back legs is got its big hooves pushing the carriage. Yeah.
The Count had his utmost promise with Dimitri by Cody's side. Everything will be fine. Except it wasn't. Dimitri's coming, the butler.
Sure.
I thought you knew the way! Cody screams, gripping on the reins to control the horse. Everything was going well with the gray horse leading him to the village, and then the horse got him lost. Now they were in a dark path and just encountered the bats and, believe it or not, werewolves. Cody wasn't kidding. There were werewolves in the forest.
Cody wasn't kidding.
They meant to say Alexandru.
I know you're reading it right. I'm just in disbelief.
Thank God he managed to scare them away with a lantern in his hand.
Yeah, the werewolves. We're just brushing past that.
Yeah.
Dimitri was running to the path. Dimitri! Cody cried to the horse to get him to calm down. He pulled on the reins. Sorry, I thought that Dimitri was the butler's name for some reason. That's why I said that earlier. The horse... Cody was thrown out of the saddle. The lanterns... What do you mean? Oh, so he climbed onto the horse to get it to go back to the normal path.
Dimitri's the vampire in Darkstalkers.
Cody was thrown out of the saddle. The lantern satters. Cody was a few feet away from it when it exploded.
He started a forest fire.
Cody quickly got up to see Dimitri was gone, and several werewolves appeared from the trees. With a yelp, Cody ran, except the ground was gone as Cody was tripping into a steep cliff. The werewolves were chasing him, snarling to bite their victim. At last, Cody got up and ran straight to a castle. Cody saw the werewolves stop when they saw the castle. Crying loudly, all of them flee. Confused, Cody started as the werewolves were running. Turning over to where it was at, he became spooked as the medieval castle that saved him. It looked like something he once saw in a very terrifying horror movie. As the chestnut boy was mesmerized, a heavy storm poured down the entire foundation. Seeing no other choice, Cody ran across the courtyard to the front door. He knocked it, and after a few minutes, the door opened on its own for the teenager to walk in. Nervously, Cody stepped inside what he assumed to be the main hall of the castle. He noticed the upper echelons of the castle, by contrast, are exquisitely decorated with twisting hallways lacquered in ornate gildings of vines, expensive furniture, and velvet carpeting lining the checkered marble floors, particularly with its foyers. Tall columns and pillars support the high domed ceiling of many chambers, and they're filled with statues, paintings, and crests. I bet that was copied from somewhere and pasted in here because that was way more well written than anything else so far.
Absolutely.
Wow, Cody said, admiring the decor. Count Alexander didn't mention that he had friends in the forest, especially in the bad parts he wanted them to avoid. He doesn't, Cody.
Cody, you're so fucking dense.
This is someone else's house.
This is why Gwen doesn't want anything to do with you. Yeah, why wouldn't he tell me he had buddies out here in the place he told me not to go?
The castle was intentionally light, which minimized sconces and candelabras, with many windows having been draped in thick curtains, leaving the vast majority of the castle steeped in shadow and secrecy. Realizing the castle wasn't abandoned, Cody called out for help while being unaware that 3 shadows were watching him from a walkway before they sped off. He goes into somebody's house and screams, "Help! Help!"
What are the 3
What do you
ghosts
want,
in
dude?
Casper named?
Stinky.
Alright, so let's see. There's Stinky, Stretch, and Fatso.
Fatso. There they are.
The ghostly trio.
Yeah.
Ooh, what do we have here? Cody saw flocks of roaches flying around the main hall. One by one, 3 scary-looking ladies appeared.
Oh, thank God! I was thinking just that.
Their names are Bella, Cassandra, and Daniela.
He's gonna get fucking hooked.
His goth girl dreams have been answered.
Times 3.
He's gonna get bullied so fucking hard.
They're gonna immediately impale his hands.
They're gonna cut off one of his hands.
Looks like we got ourselves an intruder, Bella cackled. Ah! Cody being...
Wanna try that again?
I don't know how to cackle. Yeah. Cody, being the perverted geek boy, knows the personalities each woman possesses. And those 3 were bad news. Those 3 were bad, Cody said.
But he couldn't help his rock hard dong pitching a tent in his pants.
Cody finally gets back to the party, fucking covered in blood stains, with his fucking hand glued back to his damned arm. And he's like, "Man, you should have seen them. They were like this, boy."
Big stain around his crotch.
Oh my God.
I like how it says Cody knew the personalities of each woman instantly.
He could tell
Cody
that
knew about women.
they were fucking nasty.
You watch the Capcom Presents.
Mm-hmm.
Before he could leave, his legs were grabbed. His body fell to the floor. You were about to leave after breaking into our home? Naughty boy. Cassandra grins madly, dragging Cody by his right leg. Let's see what Mother has to say about this, Daniela laughs, gripping her fingers on Cody's other leg. Cody struggled to free himself as he was dragged across the hall.
On his back.
Cody was more scared than he was.
His erection forming harder and harder with every passing moment.
His efforts were in vain. Despite looking like pale, slender waifus, these horrifying girls were much stronger than they looked.
Women can't be strong.
I wasn't sure like how old this fan fiction was, so I wasn't even sure if the Castle Dimitrescu could be in play. But I'm glad it is.
Yeah, oh my lord.
Cody setting up his failure to bag Gwen was all important for this story to work.
He's gonna bag the biggest goth of them all.
It's true.
Cody was scared out of his mind and had never been so scared in all his life. There had to be some way to outsmart or get the upper hand of these insane witches. Cody just hoped he lived long enough for it. Eventually, they took him to the 2nd floor, dragging him to an opulent, opulent large master bedroom. A fire crackled merrily in the nearby hearth, and a 4-poster bed stood under the high ceiling. From a chandelier dangled. Cody tried to notice more, knowing that any detail could be important. But the 2 girls tossed him into a heap on the floor. Cody coughed in pain from the harsh landing as he struggled to get up. Just now, things looked very bad. The 3 scary ladies were bad enough, but they dragged him to the lady of the castle's bedroom. She was seated in a massive chair, one big enough to hold her enormous yet slender frame, smoking from a long cigarette holder facing away from the door. As the girls entered noisily, laughing wickedly to each other, she looked up slowly from underneath her hat. This close, Cody could see the gray pallor of her skin contrasting with the almost virginal white of her old-fashioned yet somewhat revealing dress. As if her size and apparent invulnerability weren't obvious enough.
Cody's eyes bulge out of his head like John Taffer.
Dimitrescu's gonna make fun of his teeth.
Her looks made it clear she wasn't quite human, despite looking like an otherwise strikingly attractive woman.
Otherwise.
Mother, we've brought you fresh prey, Belle informed her mother. That info caused the tech geek to sweat heavily in fear.
Yeah, fear.
The massive woman took a long drag of her cigarette before snubbing it out. She stepped up slowly, but Cody somehow knew she could possibly move damn fast if she wanted.
Big cigarette for a big woman.
Holding a wine goblet large enough to hold an entire bottle's worth, she took a step as she turned to face them, her voice positively dripping with arrogance. "You were so kind to me, daughters. Now let's take a look at him." The three women hoisted Cody up, two of them on either side with the third behind. They seemed both fascinated and repulsed by Cody.
The third one's holding him up by the armpits.
Yeah.
Like Simba.
She's gonna be so unimpressed.
Hey, there's nothing to even eat on this little twig.
You brought me bones.
I hate bones.
Regarding him curiosity the way some people might consider him as a new species of bugs, this also made them blush a little when they noticed that despite lacking any meat, he was somewhat adorable. Cody didn't struggle too much considering his very limited opinions. What?
He could only think so much of them.
I'm Alcina Dimitrescu. Welcome to my castle. That's how it's spelled.
I know that's how it's
So
spelled.
funny.
The tall woman greeted with a very sadistic and evil tone.
I'm Dunkachino Dimitrescu.
Now, how about you introduce yourself before I'm reminded why you've entered my home? Cody Anderson! Alcina was right in his face now, or as close as she could be. The height disparity between the two of them had never been more obvious. Cody was short for a teenage boy, but Alcina towered over him and was possibly 9'6", even before the
Wow.
elegant heels she was wearing.
Big woman.
She had to bend down to sneer at him, which Cody couldn't help but notice meant she was inadvertently giving him an eyeful of her gigantic,
Oh.
full, womanly chest.
Yeah, let's go, Cody!
God, I was waiting for this self-insert moment.
Hey!
He's gonna fucking blow the button off of his pants.
I can't help but notice, ma'am.
Your gigantic womanly breasts. Whoa!
What is he doing?
Her pussy is yummy. Her tits are fantastic.
Oh, what if Eric Abramov was inside Castle Dimitrescu?
He is. He's that one fish guy.
No, that's not nice.
That fish guy's the biggest simp in the whole game.
Oh my lord.
To think that such a glamorous aristocrat woman was really some sort of bloodthirsty monster, Cody didn't know how to feel. Revulsion and lust bubbling up in him out of sheer instinct. Wanting to see how special that weak-looking little boy was, Alcina raised her hands, much like a conductor. Cody could see how this was her natural demeanor, looking down on everyone around her, never making requests when she could simply make demands. The tech geek had once worked for a woman like her in his old part-time job. She was all politeness and cold charm when everyone was dancing in her tone.
How old is he?
Old enough.
You're right.
Fair enough, fair enough.
But step one toe out of line and her anger would roaring to the surface. Lady Dimitrescu was clearly no different, a big woman who had probably very small inside. Still, in the castle, she clearly reigned supreme. Her daughters moved only too quickly to obey her unspoken commands, and the redhead was suddenly in front of him, her teeth flashing in her pale face. Lipstick, if it was lipstick, Cody thought morbidly, the only splash of color on her sharp features. There was a sudden flash of metal, and Cody screamed in pain as he sliced his hand open with her sickle. "Fuck!" he cursed in pain.
Cody!
Watch your mouth.
And the four women laughed at the chestnut boy at a sensation of knowing what it felt like to be surrounded by circling sharks all alone in the middle of the ocean.
Oh, the young boy cursed. Laugh.
He thinks he's a man.
Okay. I wanted to make sure this didn't actually just follow the plot of the game because I don't want to read that, but it doesn't. It goes somewhere else.
Okay, good.
Oh, does it hurt? The large, voluptuous woman taunted the boy. Alcina leaned down, taking hold of Cody's wrist in one firm hand, which swallowed up his wrist with ease. She opened her mouth, teeth bared, and Cody hissed in pain before she began to lick his wound. lapping up at his leaking blood before she pulled back.
Lapping up like a fucking dog.
The giantess mulled the taste over like a sommelier, considering a new vintage, while noting that the taste of his blood was starting to go a little stale.
Why? Why? He's a beautiful little boy.
It tastes like McDonald's and chicken nuggets.
The fact that this author knows what a sommelier means makes me think that he's not a child, and it upsets me that he's writing Cody fanfiction, but I'll leave it alone.
Why would he rip the part about the video game? The only reason Ethan's stale is because he's a fucking corpse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cody is fresh, young blood.
It tastes like chicken nuggets and fries.
You know, whatever that thing Alexandra made for dinner.
Cody didn't eat that shit. He got McDonald's on the way here.
He fucking Uber Eats it. He hid in this damn bed.
I asked the horse if he minded if they stopped at McDonald's, and then they got lost, and he blamed the horse.
He's still playing with the toy in his hand as they speak.
He tried to go through the McDonald's drive-thru with a horse-drawn carriage, and they said, "Fuck off." And he got really mad, so he cracked the reins really hard. I'm so hungry!
I was dragging him. I want first bite, Cassandra argued with Belle. I'm the oldest. But he's all skin and bones. There's nothing much left for him anyway, Daniela pointed out at Cody's figure. Alcina shook her head, waving her gloved finger in her daughter's faces like they were squabbling over how many sweets they wanted before dinner and not killing Cody. You girls can have him as an appetizer. There are some things I need to take care of first, Alcina stated, narrowing her eyes at Cody. Again, the three daughters sprung into action with a union of thought and performance that was odd to behold. Cody struggled, but they soon had him tossed bodily onto the bed and produced thick, dark ropes to bind his wrists and ankles.
He's producing some ropes of his own.
They will be. The chestnut boy felt to each corner of the bed, spread eagle and completely helpless. He flexed his arms, but the ropes were tight and the knots unyielding. Cody wasn't going anywhere anytime soon.
Why would he?
He would look so funny, like spread eagle. He's so thin.
Drawn
Stick
like
figure.
a fucking total drama character.
Like a stick figure with a huge head. The girls soon drifted out of the bedroom, one of them favoring Cody with a cheery smile as she waved a stained handkerchief at him, the white lace stained with some poor soul's blood. The tech geek wondered how often they brought men to the castle, though he was pretty sure he knew what happened to them. Alcina closed the doors behind her daughters, turning a gilded key with a heavy clucking sound of tumblers sliding into place. She placed the key into a pocket somewhere in her dress before turning back to face Cody, her incredibly wide hips swaying in a disarmingly coquettish fashion.
What?
Coquette-ish. Coquettish. I don't know. Before me and my daughters devour you, I decided to have some fun with you. Try not to disappoint me when you're a lady with me.
It just means to be like in a flirty way.
Okay. The voluptuous giantess smiled the way a cat might show its teeth to an injured bird, and Cody gulped audibly.
What the fuck?
She climbed onto the bed on top of him, her thick thighs straddling on both sides of Cody's scrawny body.
Oh my god. She's giving him a body job.
Let's fucking go.
Alcina smiled at him, chuckling deeply to herself as she ran a finger down his... That's lovely. Then she tossed her hand to one side in an instant.
Fuck you, Steve.
Her slender fingers had transformed into monstrous, enormous talons. Alcina moved a swing and Cody tensed, his fear getting to the best of him for just a second. Please, ma'am, have some mercy and don't kill me, Cody nervously said. But Alcina's claws swung down and Cody felt the rushing air of her strike pass over him before his shirt spilled open. Mercifully, he was unharmed, as Alcina had left several rents in his clothes, and his outfit was in tatters. As fast as it had happened, Alcina's hand returned to normal, or as normal as someone like her got. Then she tugged his clothes off before repeating the process with Cody's pants, leaving him with nothing but his light blue boxers on. Clawed off his jeans.
It took a bit more effort to get through the jeans.
She had to like saw it with her fucking claws.
Yeah, really pull.
Pulling her arm. Like, God, what do you Americans make this shit out of?
What is this material?
Maybe I should invest in this gene technology. It's like armor. This is a pretty cool story.
This is great. I love this.
Wanting to play along for now as it was his only choice, Cody kicked his shoes off. Yeah, okay.
With his feet tied down.
Kicked his laced shoes off with his... I started wearing sandals.
Play along.
He folded his feet inside and fucking pulled them off.
Get the shoes off. Come on.
I can't finish with my shoes on, ma'am.
I'll allow it.
Please, it's
Alright, it is kind of weird. Take them off.
He's fucking dork and nothing but his shoes.
Before Alcina drew herself up onto the knees, the bed creaking under her weight. With a sadistic smile, Alcina said to the scared chestnut boy, "Get ready, 'cause I will fuck you and break you."
Oh my god.
Okay.
Alcina disrobed in a hurry, and Cody's breath caught in his throat as he beheld her naked body. In the fireplace, her skin gleamed like marble, the grayish tint in her skin still odd, but somehow alluring.
Let's fucking go.
She looks like a fucking rock, he said.
Her high cheekbones and slender, sharp nose were striking in their way, and as her plush lips looked warm and inviting, her breasts spilled forth from the confines of her dress. 2 massive, perfect globes that each looked to be 9 times larger than Cody's head.
9 times.
Very big.
Globes.
Cody must be very small.
These art styles would look hideous together.
His 2D head could slide perfectly in there.
There would not.
Just even draw it.
His outline is so fucking thick.
Her areolas were a slightly darker shade of gray, topped by hard, thumb-sized nipples that the tech geek could help but want to consider to be suckable and mouth-watering. Her boobs are 9 times larger than his head, but her nipples are thumb-sized. I don't know if that really...
Nipples are pretty small, but...
Despite fearing for his fate, Cody tried to gather his courage as his fear of immediately bodily death had faded away, replaced by a strange sort of misgiving about the whole situation. Still, if it was his manhood Lady Demestru wanted, she was about to find out that she'd bitten off perhaps more than she could chew. That's very bold of you, Cody.
Cody, shut the hell up, you fucking idiot. You got held up by the scruff of your neck by some chick earlier. Don't even.
The audacity.
Coming up in
He's
here.
like, hold on, maybe I can turn this around.
You know what? Maybe this ain't so bad. I mean, I'm me after all.
I am
Cody.
Cody.
Cody Winters.
Ugh.
Fucking sack of shit.
Little bastard.
It wasn't easy, but he took his eyes off of her body, even as he longed to run his hands over her shapely large thighs and his hands ached to smack her fat, massive, mountain-sized ass. His hands are tied. He can't do that. Just sticking out behind her in a wobbling, clapping shelf of boot. He glared
Well, the clap of boot.
He glared up at her, defiance burning in his eyes. "Lady, you may be hot, but you're fucking creepy," Cody shouted.
Cody, you know what position you're in?
"I don't want to know how many guys have ever lasted under a woman like you whose weight is like a pillar." For the first time in his life, Cody stood up for himself. There was the quotes didn't end. For the first time in his
For the first time in his life.
Cody stood up for himself and he started to challenge the giant woman of a bombshell while taunting her.
Too bad he can't stand up because he's fucking tied down.
Tied down and crushed under her weight.
Christ.
He's getting, each of her thighs perfectly envelop his entire fucking body.
It's true.
Alcina quivered her eyebrows at Cody and pointed out to him that his knees are telling another story. With wide eyes, Cody saw that his knees were shaking in fear, and with a stuttering tone, he He came up with the excuse that he's just excited to put her in her place.
Oh my god.
The giant woman just chuckled in amusement, her colossal breasts shaking and bouncing on her otherwise slender form, her stomach taut and her waist waspish, before it exploded outwards into her thick thighs and full childbearing hips. She was like some ancient fertility statue came to life, and Cody couldn't help it.
I fucking hate the sculpture of the first woman.
The ancient fertility sculpture.
Yeah. It's just like a fucking pear.
Oh god, that one, yeah.
Cody couldn't help but feel his body beginning to stir, reacting to this terrifying woman's gorgeous, sensual form on basic instinct. Her pearls clattered on her neck as she drew closer, and the chestnut boy could smell a strange scent coming from her body, coppery yet not unappealing. Some quirk of pheromones produced by her unnatural form. I mean, people have described vagina as tasting like pennies,
Oh, yeah.
so I guess that's what he's referring to.
Her fucking pussy.
Whatever else she might have been, Alcina was as fuckable as she was classy.
She's dripping acid on him.
An impossible, glamorous woman who could rightly be called sex on legs, and what legs they were, lithe and so long. She swung her knees over either side of Cody's face, and his face was soon buried in her crotch, and as the thick woman sat on his face, heavily.
Oh, drown, my god.
But you don't know what
Cody
Cody's
seems to
working
be
with.
losing the fight.
Just wait until he pulls out his action trigger.
This just goes on for like maybe the rest of the story, so I think that's enough.
We'll come back to that.
It's not. Cody said he's gonna do something and he doesn't. He just gets fucked.
What's wrong with that?
There's a
Just go to the end. Does she like fuck him? And does she fuck his soul out or something? I need closure.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's really long.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just trying to imagine, like, putting this together in, like, Blender. This fucker, like, with a fucking reverse whole outline that's so big that when she tries to touch him, like, the outline covers up her hand.
There was so much unnecessary drama, like him with all thinking about his friends and his party, and then having the realization that maybe Gwen's not the perfect woman for him. When we could have gotten to the Alcina fucking so much sooner.
The setup was so funny, though.
He did ride that horse through the McDonald's drive-thru.
Okay. So I'll read the ending of the sex scene and the beginning of the next scene. 'Cause it's pretty funny.
Oh, this is just like a really long story.
He fucks her for like 3,000 words.
Cool.
Damn, let's go.
He put up a fight.
He fucks her and her daughters.
Oh my god.
Anally and orally and everything.
Oh my god.
Let's fucking go.
Cody!
Cody.
Once Cody was sure that he had impregnated the three women, he decided to fuck the lady in the castle one last time. Cody had pressed his massive long
Once
schlong
he
deep-
was sure. How? What?
He fucking put a cork in their pussy so the cum can't go anywhere.
Fucking Band-Aid.
He
held
finished the sex
He
scene.
held them upside down so it drips in there. He grabbed them by their ankles and shook them around.
Cody had pressed his long schlong deep in Alcina's gigantic, mega-sized fat ass, engaged in doggy style and having lots of fun with it. After coming inside of Lady Demiscu's pussy for one last time, Cody finally passed out as his huge dick went limp. The chestnut boy collapsed on the huge woman with his head landed between her colossal bouncy breasts. "Oh, finally! I thought this never ends," Cody muffled inside her milk jugs. Feeling glad that he wasn't a virgin anymore, he passed out. Unaware, Lady Demetrius and her daughters, with a slight amount of energy, embraced him before snuggling closer.
Wow.
And that's the end of the sex scene. I literally scrolled for like the entire time we were talking. There's like thousands of words.
That's cool.
Damn, let's go.
There's like
Don't you love it when you go through the M-rated stuff?
yeah. There's like a page break, and then it opens with, "Ugh, ... With a tired groan, Cody woke up.
He became a man overnight.
Cody! He jumped in surprise to see his parents. Both were extremely relieved and happy that he was safe, with tears running down their eyes. Cody was pulled into their shared hug.
Cock out.
Confused, the tech geek saw he was in the guest room. And to add to more confusion, he was only wearing boxers. "Thanks heavens you're safe," Andrea cried, kissing him on the cheek. "What happened?" Cody asked. And as expected, Count Alexandru Bagdazar came out from the shadows. "Cody." This startled the chestnut boy. Last night, you didn't come home, he began. My horse came back to the castle without you. We were worried something had happened to you. I took Dimitri to look for you for hours, hoping you were still alive and safe. I searched every part of the dark forest. I was bearing a heavy heart that you had died. Then I saw you laying on the ground near some bushes. I was relieved when I noticed you were wearing clothes that were worn somewhere in the 1800s. Nevertheless, I took you back home, relieved you were safe.
Aww.
He
He
finished
fucked
the
him
story
so
with a
good they
side
didn't
smile.
kill him.
Damn.
That's nice.
Heisenberg is so sick of this shit.
The stupid giant bitch! Heisenberg's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can finish. It's like a few
Yeah.
paragraphs left.
Whoa.
Okay.
Well, a happy
Holy-
ending.
Yeah.
Happy ending. Cody got his nut.
Let's go.
The thoughts of Gwen
Just read
went
this
from
one-
his brain
this one
and went
line.
straight out of his wiener.
Before the middle-aged man left the room as well, he sensed a strong smell from Cody with his nose and turned towards Cody with a knowing smile. Count Alexandru noted to his young relative, "It seems the blood of Bagdazar is running through your veins." "What are you talking about?" "I'll tell you another time. Just focus on getting some sleep." He left the room. Okay.
I noticed you fucked 4 giant women. Pretty cool.
Cody, you smell like the worst vagina I've ever.
You smell like fucking rotten
You smell
pennies.
like 2,000-year-old vagina, Cody.
Musty.
Yeah.
Why did he said he found him in clothes? Why did he take his clothes off?
He found him amidst a bunch of empty McNugget boxes.
I like that, like, they dumped him nude in the bushes outside their castle in the woods.
They just like threw him out the window.
Yeah.
Told Heisenberg to get rid of him.
Oh, I wish Cody could run through the Heisenberg gauntlet. The guy with the big hammer comes crashing down.
The fucking fan, man.
I rate that story 4 newborns out of 4.
I rate that story 3 assuredly impregnated vampire goth babes out of 3.
I rate that a total drama character fucking a Resident Evil zombie on a stomach full of McDonald's.
That's so gnarly.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Resident Evil, more terrifying than ever, comes to Nintendo GameCube. Spine-chilling action. Devastating weapons. Unspeakable evil. Live the nightmare. Resident Evil, exclusively from Capcom. Rated M for mature, only on Nintendo GameCube.
It was the late summer of '98, and Kimberly Ann Hart had an orgasm so hard since her and Tommy's first time. Her brown hair was uncharacteristically frazzled and out of place as she struggled to catch her breath, holding on tightly to Tommy's firm, chiseled arm as she slowly eased up off of him. "That was..." She was blushing as he leaned down into her ear and shushed her. The two of them, quiet and just enjoyed the moment, embraced in a cuddle. What?
I looked up Kimberly and Tommy.
Why are you so impatient?
I mean, you named 2 of the main characters. I
You didn't think you'd figure it out?
don't know. My story had no indicators of total drama whatsoever besides 2 characters.
She was blushing as he leaned down into her ear and shushed her. The two of them, quiet and just enjoyed the moment, embraced in a cuddle. It had been 3 months since they'd sent Rita packing for good, or at least that's what they'd hoped. Steven just got it.
Yeah.
They sent Rita packing so Tommy fucked the shit out of Kimberly.
Yo.
Tommy, it's been 3 months since we sent Rita packing. Can we please fuck now?
Please.
Yeah! She'd certainly abandoned her base on the moon in any case. Since then, there'd been much more time to focus their normal lives, her with her gymnastics and guitar, and Tommy teaching his martial arts classes. For a while, she and the other Rangers had forgotten how to have fun. Well, Jason and Billy never really learned how to have fun in the first place, she thought.
Poor
God
Billy.
damn.
Billy's always getting dunked on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like building shit or whatever. I don't know. That can't be fun. I don't know how Billy does it. Matt's boring, Billy. You fucking idiot. She thought, but they both had embarked on their own quest since Rita's fall. Billy was hard at work getting scholarships to prestigious universities where he'd no doubt do great things, while Jason had dedicated all of his time to perfecting his body and his martial arts. Her and Zach, being of the more laid-back variety, had agreed they were both a little crazy. Notably, none of their plans involved getting girlfriends anytime soon, and Kimberly thought that was a problem. They didn't know what they were missing. She leaned back and kissed Tommy on the ear, moving some of his long, dark strands with her fingers. Think they'll mind if we're a little late? Tommy chuckled. No way. Why would they mind? It's lunch, not one of Zordon's drills. She gave him a little nod,
One of
beginning
Zordon's drills.
Oh my god.
Rangers, drop and give me 20.
Rangers, what up?
Line up. You're a fine group of Rangers today. 20 laps around the morphing grid. But the morphing grid's infinite.
You just haven't gone far enough. I'm sure there's an end.
I can see it from here. Come on now.
There's a horizon line. There's got to be an end.
Alpha, you doing anything later? You wanna watch that movie we were talking about? Ay.
Why did you invite them here?
She gave him a little nod, beginning to sit up. Still, we should at least start getting dressed. I don't want to miss Trini's triumphant return from Shanghai, Tommy nodded, giving her bare bottom a kinky little smack, leaving a pink handprint on the Pink Ranger.
Ow.
You're right as usual, Kim. Let's get cleaned up.
Damn.
Trini's been in Shanghai for whatever reason. Unexplained.
That's where she lives.
She commutes to Angel Grove.
Zordon gives her a lift. Morphs her there.
She can teleport.
She has terrible, time sickness from being thrown the opposite side of the world all the time.
Trini, I invented this thing called jetting. You can use it to fly back and forth from Shanghai to the morphing grid.
Trini, I invented this thing called jet lag. When you morph really far, you get really nauseous.
It sucks, doesn't it?
Every cool idea has a cost, Trini. Understand this.
She comes in all nauseous with the bam 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 bam, stumbling like she's wasted.
Green in the face.
And then Tommy says, "Hey, I thought I was the Green Ranger," and they all laugh. Bulk and Skull come in and laugh too.
Zordon's room.
Zordon laughs. When they reached the youth center, Jason and Zach were sparring on the gymnastics mat, and Billy was typing away on his brand new laptop, writing a college application essay. Kimberly shook her head, slouching into a chair. What a fucking dork. He's never gonna find a woman like that. Some of her friends just didn't know how to shut off and have a good time. She guessed in her own way, though. They were enjoying the stuff. Tommy placed a hand on her shoulder after coming back from saying hi to the guys.
After coming.
After coming.
He did do that.
She's due in any minute, Kimberly grinned. She definitely missed hanging out with her best friend. She stood up and when she saw the yellow of Trini's ruffled skirt, running over to hug her. Hey girl, the Chinese-American teenager smiled back. Kimberly giggled. Or should I say, ni hao? Trini laughed softly, hugging back as the rest of the group gathered around her. Oh, I've missed you guys. Jason smiled and placed a hand on her shoulder. He was all sweaty already from his workout. Kimberly noticed her friend blush ever so slightly. Were you able to work on your kung fu while you were over there? He asked. Of course it'd be a question about martial arts, she thought, trying not to roll her eyes. I'd love to go there sometime and test myself against some of those Shaolin monks. Trini grinned at Jason. I did get to train some. I don't know if you're ready for these guys, Jason. They were incredible. Jason smirked, confident as ever. We'll see about that. Aya! He made a fist, flexing lightheartedly. How do you flex lightheartedly? A kind flex.
He's being polite.
Trini laughed a bit. Kimberly knew she would have liked to see that. Well, look who's back in town, Skull. A familiar voice boomed from behind them. The colorfully dressed, leather-clad punk shoving his way between them.
Familiar's theme song boomed from behind them.
A familiar brown note ruining the ears of all in the rec center. Kimberly grimaced a bit as his skinny sidekick helped himself to touching her shoulder, even as he looked at Trini. What a fucking scumbag.
They hate Vulcan Skull.
Skull snickered, high-pitched as he often did. Sayonara, Trini-san! Trini rolled her eyes. Bulk chimed in, too. So, did you learn the art of the samurai sword? or just eat a bunch of rice? What? He pretended to wield a katana, making a stereotypical wah sound. She just got back.
Hey, Kimberly, Ching Chong Bing Bong, am I right?
Hey, he deserves the music in the background.
You're writing cursive now?
He's trolling.
Trini put her palm to her face, looking at Kimberly in disbelief at the rampant racism being portrayed in the juice bar.
Did you really say that?
No.
Bulk is so based.
Did you try and learn the art of the samurai sword or just eat a bunch of rice? Kimberly huffed indignantly. You imbeciles have known Trini for how long, and you think she's Japanese? Bulk blinked. Well, wait, what do you mean? She's not Japanese? I mean, she doesn't look French. Billy was trying not to laugh, but he held it together for his friend's sake.
Billy was trying not to lol, but he couldn't help it.
He was live blogging this so hard.
Billy loves edgy humor, he just didn't want to get knocked off social media.
BNS just walked in and immediately began profiling our Chinese friend.
Easy to write.
She's Chinese American, bright boy, and don't you think you're being just a little bit racist now? Tommy stepped in between them and the others, looking offended on her behalf.
Wasn't she just literally just in China? She just came here from China?
Yeah.
I don't think it's weird to ask her questions about being in China when she just got back from China.
He was asking questions about her being in Japan.
Oh, okay. That's fine. I mean, when he was confronted about it, he was like, "Oh, I didn't know. Sorry."
Yeah. Well, now Tommy's gonna kick his ass.
Tommy's here to be mad on her behalf.
Yeah.
White knighting Tommy.
Yeah, I think maybe you should start over and try to welcome her home again.
He sure is.
Bulk blushed and tried to look annoyed, as if he didn't care. Psh, whatever. Welcome home, geek. Come on, Skull. Let's get out of here. Skull followed him.
Skull says,
clueless as
"Now
ever.
hold on, Bulk. What you said."
You said she was Japanese. I thought she was.
I don't think that's good enough, Bulk.
You're never going to be allowed back in the juice bar if you don't apologize.
Where's your manager? I need to...
Skull followed him, clueless as ever. Well, some things never change, Trini said as she cracked a smile. Zach chuckled, pulling off his sweaty black headband, shaking his head as he shook out his muscles and joints. I'd hate to think of where those clowns think I'm from. Billy grinned at Trini. We missed you a lot. I know I have. Check out my new computer monitor. It's portable. It... The communicators. Kimberly looked around and met her friend's eyes. Are you serious? Tommy looked concerned. I wonder if it's Rita. I knew it felt too good to be true, Jason nodded, motioning for the others to follow as he strolled to a quiet, unused corner of the center. Lunch will have to wait. Let's go. The others nodded and followed Zach, biting his lip. Man, my fries just came up. I can smell them. Someone's gonna pay for this. With a blur of multicolored lights, they were gone. As they plummeted through space and at the speed of light, Kimberly had a bad feeling about this next mission. What is with these stories just having such a hard build-up to the tie-ins? Oh, here we go. Chapter 2. Ada Wong stood at the STARS office at the Raccoon Police Department, stroking soothingly over the crying Birkin girl's short, dirty blonde hair. She was trying to be as empathetic as she could to her plight. There, Sherry. We'll get out of here together. Don't you worry. She sounded colder than she wanted to, despite all of her effort. She never considered herself a particularly affectionate person until work called for manipulating a man, but that was a different kind of charisma altogether. Still, she knew the child would be thankful to hear any words of encouragement after days on her own, crawling through filthy vents and avoiding ravenous and morbid creatures, even though it annoyed her to no end to be leading around a trembling 12-year-old girl. Having her on hand would prove an excellent bargaining chip in the chance she happened across that bitch Annette. The downside, of course, was that having Sherry around also increased the chances of running into, well, what was left of her father. Still, she was too valuable at this point to let her out of sight, so Ada would stick to playing the caring mother to the best of her abilities, for now. She let the child go when she could muster no more sympathy, and began going through the desk behind her to see if she could discern any worthwhile data from the clutter. The child had stopped crying and was staring at her as she ripped the desks apart. What are you doing, Ada? Ada didn't answer her at first, mentally pushing away her question as a minor annoyance, but then reminded herself that she needed this girl to like her. Oh, sorry. What's that, honey? I'm just looking for any clues about why the police let this get so out of control. The girl nodded, accepting her answer, trying to behave herself and hold back tears. Just then, someone, or something, was banging on the door, causing the hair to stand up on Ada's exposed skin. Since it hadn't attempted the doorknob, it stood to reason that it wasn't anyone with good intentions, or complex reasoning skills for that matter. She swiftly grabbed her Browning high-power pistol off of the desk, training it at the door, shouting in a whisper, "Get down in the corner!" Sherry followed orders with a swiftness, and she was under the desk in no time. The low, ghastly moan that came from outside confirmed the identity of the assailant beyond the shadow of the doubt, but not the number of them. Ada hoped and prayed it was only one or two. She wasn't going to wait for them to break the door down. Instead, she quickly gave the doorknob a quick half-turn and pressed up against the wall, helping them to open the door. The rancid stench hit her instantly as they shambled in, causing Sherry to whimper. They both picked up on the sound and started shuffling towards her corner of the room. The first was a fat man in his previous life, now reduced to a disgusting, bulging sack of meat in an old blood-stained t-shirt, dribbling blood from his lipless maw at an alarming rate. The second was a wiry, skinny, bald man who almost looked alive if not for the fact that he was shuffling around on an entirely broken and twisted foot. Ada wanted to shoot, but she waited until both of them were in the room before she drew any attention to herself, then swiftly put a bullet in each of their heads, the red splatters of blood making more of a mess than her or Sherry would have liked. The smell of the summer-baked rotted flesh was beyond sickening. She peered outside into the hallway, silent for a moment, to make sure the coast was clear. Next time, she'd be sure to check around the corner before she closed the two of them into a room. She breathed a small sigh of relief, turning back to the bawling child who was dancing over the disgusting corpses and gore in a mortified little frenzy. When she reached the other side, she rushed to Ada, clinging against her and sobbing. At that moment, it was impossible not to feel horrible for the girl. Ada caressed her head, holding her close. Lucky you have such a badass shot for a friend, huh? Those shooting lessons my uncle gave me really paid off.
It's like, got him, huh?
Good thing I'm so cool, right? Yeah? You like cool people? I'm cool. I'm hip. I can hang. She thought she heard the girl laugh nervously in between her sobs.
You are pretty cool.
You're so cool, Ada Long. She put a hand under her chin, making her look up at her. Now what do you say we get out of here? I don't think this room is a good hideout anymore. Sherry forced a small smile and nodded. Yeah, I'd like that. Ada gripped her pistol tight in one hand and Sherry's in the other. Oh, her hand.
And whipped Sherry with the other.
She spoke quietly. Remember, honey, quiet as a mouse. Sherry nodded and Ada rounded the corner, seeing the skeletal remains of what their two friends in the office must have been feasting on. Don't look at it, she ordered. Sherry nodded and tightened her hand. Oh, okay. Ada pulled her past the bloody mess into the door at the end of the hall, sliding a card in the reader. The little light turned from red to green, and she quietly turned the handle. Don't worry, Sherry. We're going to find your mother soon. I promise you that. Ooh, chapter 3's from Jason's perspective.
Oh.
They'd chosen to teleport smack dab in the middle of the city. That way they could fan out into smaller groups and teleport as many survivors to safety as possible. You didn't think these two worlds would collide?
I didn't think they'd task force it. I thought they'd be like, oh, what's going on here? And then they'd find zombies, but they're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm guessing they just said, they cut out where Zordon said, yeah, there's zombies going on. You get over there.
You know, zombies, yeah. I can't really do anything about this, but...
It's not in my jurisdiction. It's not monster related, but maybe you guys want to do something about that. I don't know.
We could pretty easily teleport out survivors, and that might be good, so...
This is your problem now.
It'd be good in public image. When they appeared on the field, they were surrounded by an alarming collage of smashed and burning vehicles and strewn, partially charred corpses. Jason's eyes scanned the horrible scene through his visor, only the tightening of his grip on his power sword making him feel any better at all.
Power sword's not going to be all that helpful.
What do you mean? He could slice their zombies with relative ease.
Yeah, but against a horde of them.
Sure.
Get tired quick.
He's got a gun, too.
He'd say, Zordon, is this killing real people? He's like, no, they're zombies.
They don't count. It's okay to use your powers here. Remember that thing I said about self-defense? Well, they all want to get you.
Pretend you're in a self-defense position, but they're a zombie.
You get them first. He heard Kimberly break into a sob beside him and glanced over to see the Green Ranger putting an arm around her shoulder. She bellowed, This is horrible. It's unbelievable.
Zordon said it was okay.
Zordon didn't make it out to be that bad, but...
It is pretty bad.
Tommy was quick to console her. Kim, hey, it's okay. We gotta be strong. This is what we do. Zordon told us exactly what to expect. As long as we're together, we'll be fine. Tommy's voice was reassuring to more than just Kimberly. It gave Jason the strength he needed to further lead them in this disaster. He heard Billy utter, Jesus, for the first time in his life.
Billy swore.
While Zach and Trini were having their own conversation amongst themselves to cope with this new reality, it was time to step up and lead. He squeezed the hilt of his sword.
His little plastic sword.
He's gonna smash it over a zombie's head. Just then, one of the charred corpses actually lifted its arm with a sickly, depressingly weak moan and extended it toward the Red Ranger's foot. He shuddered a bit in his armor, even though he couldn't actually feel those bony fingers when they touched him. A quick slice with the power sword cut through its arm like butter, and he wasted no time in finishing it off with a sharp thrust to the head. Aya! It served as a good example of the fearlessness he expected out of all of them.
Fucking explodes.
After he went, started swinging wildly.
Kills a real person and looks around for approval, and the other rangers are like,
This is the kind of fearlessness I expect out of all of you, Kimberly. All right, team. Every minute we waste is another minute good people could be losing their lives. We're going to split up into 3 groups to cover more ground. We keep in touch by communicator, and if things get too hairy, we teleport back to the command center to devise a new strategy. As you can see, these things go down pretty easy. They may have just been people once, but like Zordon said, just go for the head. It'll take...
Oh my god.
Just go for the head, Rangers. You see me, aim for me.
looks just like this.
He spins around in his fucking tube.
I don't get to use visual aids very often.
Finally.
Indulge me. It'll take more than a couple of creepy ghouls to take down the Power Rangers. This is why we do what we do. Now let's get out there and save some lives. His words of encouragement had pepped the team right up, all of them but the Pink Ranger brandishing their weapons and responding loudly, Right! Right! He walked in front of the Pink Ranger, still being held by Tommy. Right, Kimberly? Right, Kimberly? She seemed to take a moment, pulling herself together before making a firm fist, raising it in the air, and materializing her power bow in an outburst of pink energy. Right, she responded with her usual confidence. That's what I like to hear. Now Trini and I will head north. Straight down this way. Zach and Billy, you guys check out the west, toward those alleyways. People could be hiding anywhere. Make sure to check everything. Dumpsters, locked cars, homes. Zach and Billy nodded. Zach speaking up. Right, we're on it. He took a look at the Blue Ranger and they nodded to each other and sprinted off towards the alleyways, brandishing axe and lance. You know, the Power Rangers are pretty perfect candidates to stop a zombie infection. They've got fucking power suits. They can't even get touched.
It's true, they have Megazords.
Hopefully,
Just stomp them.
Hopefully, Bulk and Skull don't wander in here.
Bulky, how did we get here? Gee, Skull, I don't know. I think you took a wrong turn at Albuquerque. As a fucking Lord Zed makes a zombie grow giant and smush them. The Blue Ranger stopped suddenly. Trini, be careful, alright? You just got back, and we've barely had any time to catch up and all. I have a lot of stuff to show you. Trini smiled behind her visor. Not that he would know that. I will. Don't worry about me, Billy. Just watch out for yourself, okay? Jason whipped his sword through the air.
Jason was whipped instantly.
What are you worried about, Billy? She's with me. Fuck off. Billy nodded, hesitated, and then took off to catch up with Zach. Jason puts his big Red Ranger arm around Kimberly's shoulder.
Wraps all the way around and grips her boob tightly.
Tightly, but she can't feel it through her power suit.
Like
He
he
couldn't
knows.
feel his toes get grabbed. Tommy, you and Kimberly head southeast over this big pile of rubble. Find out what's on the other side. I like to imagine him like gesturing with his sword, pointing like it's a laser pointer. The Green Ranger nodded. We owe you one, Jason. Thanks for letting us do this together.
Why did Jason get the credit?
Because now Tommy and Kimberly can go fucking Raccoon City.
Okay.
Kimberly nodded in agreement, overtaken with courage now. All right, let's do this. She started up the rubble, her suit not giving her much trouble at all, and Tommy following. Oh yeah, he's making sure to stay behind as she climbs up a hill. Taking her hand and disappearing over the other side with her. Jason looked at Trini. How are you holding up? The Yellow Ranger glanced down a bit. I'm okay. My heart weeps for these people, though. What could have happened here? It's horrendous. The Red Ranger put a gloved hand on her shoulder. I don't know. Maybe Rita's been cooking up some biological warfare and hiding.
Oh my
Terrible as
God.
it is to think about. I'm sure Zordon will have some answers soon. In the meantime, we need to get moving. Lives are at stake. She nodded, and the two of them were racing up the road and into the world of survival horror. The end.
Whoa. I rate that story, Bulk squinting his eyes at Kimberly out of 10.
At Kimberly.
Whichever one.
Trying to recap the story in my mind.
I rate that story Kimberly's best orgasm out of 10. Because she did fuck. That's true. That's canon.
It's true.
And it wasn't even the first time.
I rate that story a zombie being exploded by a ranger weapon shot. Big dramatic explosion.
Mr. X is going to pop out and they're all going to pose and have the big cannon come down.
Yeah.
One, make Mr. X grow!
It'd be so stupid looking giant. He'd just shuffle around.
His giant house-sized fedora. They have to summon the fucking Megazord.
Gotta fight giant nemesis.
Daijujin has to come down with his giant sword and cut him down. Steven, you ready to take us home into the world of survival horror?
I am.
I hope your story is as sexually charged as ours were.
We'll see.
Yeah, normally they aren't.
That's true. This has been a very lewd cast.
Resident Evil's made for mature audiences.
That's true. I ain't complaining.
Yes, you are.
Fucking homie Thomas was at his homestead train port in Portland with his girl Regina, some bitch, and he was called up by his Uncle Fred over in Monroe Country.
Okay.
This is fucking Monroe and shit's happening. Gotta fucking come quick, choo choo choo, bitch, and kill Nazi alien invaders with their yachts that are like landing in my front yard. Fuck, they're shooting everything, my God. Thomas, if you are a real tank engine, then you know what to do. Oh shit. Thomas was pumped and had quick train sex with Regina before going out to defeat evil Nazi aliens.
Is Regina a female train?
I don't think so.
I've never heard of Regina. Let me see.
I'll look it up.
You can't just
okay.
type in Regina into Google and expect a result like that.
We'll see.
Okay, Google, Regina. Here's what I found about Regina.
And that shit happened where Thomas was at that Monroe station in Portland, and all up and down the beach there were yachts and alien Nazis, and they were discussing how not to have fun with local tourists. Thomas chewed over and killed everyone with his entire body. Everyone. Just fucking everyone indiscriminately. No aiming, no weapons, or emotional conceptualization. The alien Nazi throw is gone, but Thomas had done a very bad, wrong, and murder thing. Thus...
The story's chaotic.
It really is.
At least it's sexual.
Yeah, true. Thusly, our Lord and Savior Jesus descended from another space yacht and landed majestically on the beach. I say unto you, why do so harm? Thomas got super sad. I just got super pumped, fucked my girl, listened to my bigoted uncle, then ran over here and was hauling like 129, bruh, like 130 down the beach. I ain't never been this unhinged before. Never knew I could chugga chew this fucking hard, bruh. Jesus nodded slowly.
Listen to my bigoted uncle.
Jesus nodded slowly.
Yes. He's turning the other cheek really hard.
Well said, my mechanical brother. Thus it was not your intention, thus the Lord did weep. Thomas made discernment. Why, you my lawyer or something? Space lawyer saying I can get manslaughter? Jesus frowned and stood quietly for a moment. Suddenly he smiled. Will you hug Jesus? Before Thomas could answer, the entire military of the United States and the Prussian territories came to arrest the train.
Nice.
They put him in the back of a police yacht which flew to the southern border of New Mexico,
A police yacht.
did a somersault, and landed in Panama.
He's a train.
This guy's on some Kurt Vonnegut shit.
Welcome to Panama, said Santa Claus. Why are you here in Panama, Santa? Replied Thomas the Tank Engine as he stepped out of the flying yacht. Santa continued, contingent on your release from military thingy, and because of the holiday season, we are to invade Brazil, overthrow the current president Bolsonaro, then spread Christianity and capitalism through such propaganda as Operation Hallmark.
Okay.
Must be another one of his bigoted uncles.
Thank you, Santa.
My God! Jesus appeared again. Oh, okay, Thomas, I'll join in.
If I know Jesus, he loves Christianity.
Sounds like a good cause in my name.
Meanwhile, back in the American U.S. area, that kills me. Presidential President JFK was taking a giant dump in the war room.
Okay.
Get me the Chief Logistics Military Operation Command Operative Sergeant Commander for the Southwest and non-allied regional regions of Brazil. Dude fucking popped into the war room. I'm here.
Okay.
Listen carefully. JFK wants to take a shit in Brazil. Unmeanwhile, back in Panama, Santa.
Panama Santa.
Unmeanwhile! And there's a dash in between un and meanwhile, so they're not being stupid. They meant to put that.
Yeah, because they're going back to the main plot.
Oh, okay.
And meanwhile,
That hurt to read for a second. Back in Panama, Santa, Jesus, and Thomas were discuss options for getting to Brazil's capital, Brasilia. Jesus held his palms up.
Thomas can't fucking move
He has no tracks.
unless there's a convenient railroad on the beach of Panama
True.
that
Maybe
they tossed him on.
They put like tank treads on him.
Sure.
Jesus turned water into
If he can fuck
treads.
his girl, I'm sure he can do plenty.
Hey, true.
I wonder if he misses her.
He's in war now.
He can't think about that kind of thing.
Jesus held his palms up. Say unto you dudes, it would be but an easy task.
To you dudes.
It would be but an easy task if we could all travel in Santa's sleigh this fine day. I'm too fat, cried the enormous tank engine. Santa became dismayed. It was sad shittery to see others in disharmony with their emotions. If only his sleigh was as gigantic as a steam locomotive.
If only.
Wait! Exclaimed Santa excitedly. That's it! Jesus showed discernment. By the 3 rings of Jupiter, what is it? Santa smiled. Follow my logic, Jesus. My reindeer can fly. The Lord deems it so. Those reindeer pull my sleigh, causing it to fly. By the holy rules of physics, thusly a mass exerted upon by a force could be moved. Santa smiled again.
It's all thanks to Jesus that reindeer can fly.
By my will.
So let's lose the sleigh and duct tape the reindeer all over Thomas's hull.
All over?
He needs full coverage.
Duct tape them.
Their bodies are just like slapped onto different parts of Thomas, and they're expected to achieve liftoff.
He's gonna spin like a fly with one wing.
He's not aerodynamic like a sled is.
Thomas grew concerned with shock, but saw a smile form on Jesus' face. Jesus looked at Thomas and said mystically, "This science makes me feel spiritual. We shall be super fucking successful."
Nice.
Thomas was excited and made choo-choo noises as the reindeer were duct taped to him by migrant workers who were constantly farting on account of an all-bean diet. Great.
Okay.
Thus,
Where's Resident Evil?
In Brazil. I'm getting there.
You're going to Brazil!
It's only a matter of time.
Oh my lord.
Resident Evil 9 in Brazil.
Thus, upon that day, the flying reindeer-powered train had been created. Meanwhile, JFK had used super stealth technology and cyborg cops to enter the heartland of Brazil. He was pretending to have a peace talk with Brazilian President Bolsonaro, said he needed to go to the bathroom, disappeared for a moment. The moment stretched on, and a smell came from the bathroom. Bolsonaro went to the potty to confront JFK.
The potty.
"Oh, what the fuck?" asked Bolsonaro, allegedly in a polite manner. JFK was like, "I have taken ridiculous amounts of preparation H, and the night before I ate nothing but fried beans and expired prune juice. I got my bum hole on the threshold."
He really wants to do this.
"Ready to clog your poorly designed sewage system unless my demands are met." Bolsonaro gulped. "I hope that name of yours stands for just fucking kidding."
Kidding with a C.
It
No,
does.
JFK.
Wait. Right.
It does
I'm
not.
an idiot.
It does not. Then there was a miniature explosion. "Please! Please!" cried Bolsonaro. "My God, what do you want?" "America, that is United States lost our woods back in the prior to the 60s. Well listen, we want your Amazon rainforest. We're going to use laser scalpels positioned from orbital satellites to conduct a 3-year-long forest transplantation process. Very sophisticated science allows trees to float in the air, orbit around the Earth, and land in Texas."
He's stealing the rainforest. He's like the Grinch.
"If we transplant the Amazon near the new Amazon headquarters in Texas, it will be ironic."
Thank you, Mr. President. Now about that shit.
That's his big demand.
He's holding him hostage by plotting to clog his sewer system.
He ate nothing but beans and prune juice.
And preparation H.
Preparation for his wartime meeting.
Oh my God. Bolsonaro frowned. "Why not pay us for our forests? The only reason I deforest the shit out of my country is to gain money." Yes, I want to create jobs and compete on a global market, but it all boils down to money. You Americans, please and thank you, just offer the money, yes?" A fart came from JFK's butt as if in reply. "My country has not offered to take these things from you yet." "That's so kind of you." JFK frowned. "You're a sarcastic asshole." Bolsonaro held his head down. "I'm an asshole. You're an asshole. Our countries choose leaders like us to hate on each other because we're extensions of unending abuse in this world. The two men began to cry. JFK replied, "Perhaps we should stop abusing one another, forcing our values on one another, and simply learn to listen." Bolsonaro smiled. "Perhaps that is a good place to start." He handed JFK a fresh roll of TP. Suddenly, the wall to the bathroom crashed. Bricks and whatnot went everywhere. And
Nowhere to shit.
Oh no. The two men were killed instantly.
Oh.
No.
The sudden peace was just as suddenly concluded. Thomas the Tank Engine removed himself from the rubble.
Of course.
Santa
He picked himself up.
Santa and Jesus were safe in the conductor compartment.
Such was their will. They look so cool together in there.
Some reindeer had been massacred on the impact. There was blood all over Thomas's hull. "Yay!" exclaimed Thomas. "We made it to the capital of Brazil." Jesus and Santa looked super happy. "I will spread the good word of God and Christian faith," exclaimed Jesus triumphantly.
Yeah.
"And I will teach the families and their children about consumerism," explained Santa with equal triumph. Many diplomats and random fuckers came into the bathroom all crying. 2 presidents had been killed. Everyone was sad, for people on both sides of the conflict had heard rumors of a bathroom peace negotiation. Now, that hope for peace was gone and their leaders were gone. Only sorrow remained. Thomas the Tank Engine was so fucking happy. "Look, they're crying tears of joy. These ignorant people are so ready to be enlightened by the gifts we bring.
Gift of God.
We have so much fucking virtue, oh my god."
The gifts of Christmas.
Thusly, Thomas the Tank Engine became a living saint. The end.
Where was Resident Evil?
That's a good question, because that was in the crossover.
Okay.
What the hell?
I rate that Resident Evil 6 out of Resident Evil.
I rate that one successful pilgrimage to Brazil.
I rate that a lot of preparation age.
God, incredible. Okay, that was the Resident Evil episode.
That was exhausting.
In our next exciting episode, it's a big one. It's a special time of year. We're doing our first and probably only ever Easter-themed episode of Crossing the Line.
Yes!
Woo!
I love Easter.
Hell yeah,
What's your favorite thing? No, wait, don't say anything about Easter until next time.
Okay.
We can't shoot our shot yet.
I'm gonna buy so many Reese's eggs.
I know, right?
I'm gonna hide so many yummy Easter eggs around your house.
My house.
Yeah. We're gonna have to find them while us recording our podcast. The audio quality will be very poor. Like way out in the hall, like, then the freeze ran around all 4 bases and picked up Easter eggs on each one. They were very hard to find.
Easter flavored ice cream.
I made that joke to Steven the other day while we were at the racetrack snacking up. It was like Hop Pop meets the freeze or something, and then he's like, thanks for inviting us out here in your baseball diamond. Now during Easter of all times. And then the thought of the freeze or any baseball athlete hiding Easter eggs in a baseball diamond is very funny to me.
It really is.
Okay, see you next time.
Okay,
have a good night.
Like and subscribe.
Yes, please like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on Spotify. Like us on Apple Music. Wherever you found this podcast. Goodbye.
Night.
Goodbye.